Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. Yesterday in our Take 5, I was talking about being adventurous, not just to travel the well-trodden path, not just to play it safe, but to boldly go where no man has gone before, to use the Star Trek slogan. Now, the problem is when you're involved in church leadership, you want to be bold, you want to hear the voice of God, you want to give the freedom for the Holy Spirit to move, but you also need to protect people. And so church leaders are always trying to strike a balance because they don't want to allow things to happen in a church that are going to damage or harm people or be to the detriment of the church and people's spiritual growth. And so you've got to guard, as shepherds, you've got to guard the sheep. But leaders also want to give the freedom for the Holy Spirit to move and do what he wants to do. And the thing is, even when you're the pastor of the church, you need to recognize that the Holy Spirit doesn't just work through you. The Holy Spirit works through all kinds of people. And so church leaders are they're trying to walk that fine line of still protecting the people. Now, it's not just anything goes and anyone can do whatever they want in the church, because that ends up with people getting hurt. But you also don't want to quench a genuine move of the Holy Spirit. I do remember a time in our church in Drogheda whenever we had an experience, and this was a good number of years ago, where somebody stood up to share a testimony and came out with something that was really inappropriate. I mean, it was really just wrong. And people got annoyed and people got embarrassed and people got offended and upset and everything else. And there was a whole load of mess for us as the leaders of the church to clear up afterwards. And after that, it wasn't something that we deliberately set a policy to do, but we probably became too cautious after that in giving freedom for people to share testimony. It was okay if there were people that we knew and we knew that they weren't going to come out with something crazy. But if somebody we didn't know very well, we weren't really giving the freedom for people to share their testimonies in the church meetings. Again, it wasn't a desire. We weren't control freaks. We weren't consciously trying to quench the moving of the Holy Spirit. We were trying to protect the people. But looking back, we probably went from one extreme to the other extreme and failed to both protect the people and to allow the freedom for the Holy Spirit to move. That's why church leaders need the guidance of the Holy Spirit. And sometimes it's very easy for us to criticize church leaders. It's very easy to say, well, they should have done this and they shouldn't have allowed that and they should have done that. But the fact is, church leaders are human. They're fallible human beings who are trying to do their best to lead the church forward under the guidance of the Holy Spirit. They're trying to hear the voice of the Spirit, and sometimes they're having to make decisions on things in a split second. And sometimes, when you make a split-second decision, afterwards you sit and you think about it and you think, man, that was not the right course of action to take. So I want to encourage you today, before you get offended at a church leader, before you start criticizing a church leader, pray for them. Pray for God to guide them. It's wonderful. All the new churches we have opening up all over Ireland. It's fantastic. It's many of us dreamed for this day that we're seeing now. But that's great challenges. And there's leaders rising up, and some of them are young and some of them are new, and they're finding their way and they're doing their best. They're seeking God and they're moving in the Holy Spirit. But still, there's going to be times whenever they need understanding and we need to show them grace. So I would ask you today, pray for church leaders. Pray for your pastor. Pray for the leaders of the church where you fellowship. Pray for the leaders of other churches and surrounding churches. Pray that God will give them the wisdom that they will protect the people God has entrusted to their care, but they will also always be open for the Holy Spirit to move through them. May God bless you today, and join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.